Here.
Jim Boomerang is excused. Debbie Dean. Debbie Nicholas.
Here. And in.
And Melanie Parker is excused.
Excellent, thank you. First of all, happy New Year, everybody.
Happy
Fantastic year last year. Thanks to the group right here, the mayor and Kevin and Cheryl and the whole group, Ken. And we'll, 2020 is as good if not better. Right, Ken?
Pressure's on.
It will be. I'm confident of that. Motion approval of the agenda, please.
So moved.
Second.
Matt and Barb, all those in favor, saying aye.
Aye.
Approved. Approval of the minutes from December 10th.
Move to approve.
A motion by
Second.
Barb and second by Matt. All those in favor, saying aye.
Aye.
Minutes approved. Regular business. Number 1. Consideration of possible action on disposition of 223 South Buchanan Street, tax parcel 3-1175R, 227 South Buchanan Street, tax parcel 3-1063-2, 1027 Western Avenue, tax parcel 3-8048, and 1253 9th Street, tax parcel 1-428C to Greater Green Bay Habitat for Humanity for construction of 4 single-family homes. Excellent.
That was a mouthful, but
Yeah.
we put it all on one, so you didn't have to read it 4 times. So,
That's excellent. Very good.
so we had a request from Greater Green Bay Habitat for Humanity to build on these 4 parcels. 2 of these parcels, 1253 9th Street and 1207 Western, were purchased with CDBG dollars. So we already had the intention that we were probably going to work with Habitat on those 2 lots. The other 2, South Buchanan, 223 South Buchanan, we purchased from the county back in 2016, and we've had a few kicks at the can at that one. Haven't had anything that really stuck. Habitat, I think, has a design here that'll work there. And then once we purchased 227 South Buchanan, it just worked logistically for them as well to build both of those at the same time. They're able to kind of move their volunteers around and bounce back and forth between job sites, and it makes it a lot easier when they're both next to each other. Habitat has presented 4 designs that we think at staff level are pretty good. There are a few tweaks that we want to make, but in order to get the families placed into these properties and for Habitat to start the rest of their process, they need to have control of the land. So we're requesting that we deed these 4 properties to Habitat for the construction of the single-family homes.
Did you want to go through them? Or?
Yeah, we can go through each of them if we'd like.
That would be...
Yeah, sorry. 223 South Buchanan, this was a property that was actually demolished through our inspection department. We took control of this property then through the county. So that is a vacant site. 227, we recently purchased that this year. Right now there's a manufactured home on the site that is on a crawl space. The property itself has been pretty much, yeah, it's seen better days. So that will be demolished by either us, the city, or Habitat, depending on when we can get the demo lined up. We have a current round of demolitions that we could get that one taken care of. Otherwise, Habitat will do it during their construction process, and then we'll reimburse for the demo costs. 1207 Western, similar thing. We just purchased this one. We have it in our latest round of demos, but Habitat will also demo that before construction if the timelines line up. And then we reimburse for demo there. 1253 9th, this was a house that was demoed through inspection as well. Picture here was, this house got hit by a car twice.
Well,
Yes,
yeah.
I've heard of this.
So, yeah, that's been cleared. We have a vacant lot now.
Do you have a little different traffic pattern going on?
Yeah, I think the setbacks will make sure well, I don't know about the traffic itself,
I mean,
but.
you know.
why does it get hit?
Why, I mean,
So there's a hill on 9th that apparently cars speed through there and like blow through a stop sign and then lose control.
So, I mean, okay, so has that been brought to traffic?
That, DPW is aware of it. I don't think there's anything that has been done to correct that. Yeah, it's tough because it's an intersection that's, it has, I think it's signaled even.
No, it's.
No, there's a stop sign.
There's a
but-
stop sign.
Yeah.
But kids like to blow through it because the road is crowned so they can get airborne.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
So it's juvenile delinquent
Maybe one of
behavior
those
that's causes.
Barriers.
So the issue really is violations. I mean, there's a stop sign. There's both,
Right.
So it's
Right, it doesn't
violation.
help the house getting hit though, I mean, okay,
Yeah.
just,
But I think with the design that we have and working with the setbacks, that'll put the house
in
in
less danger.
less danger
Okay.
than what was there, because the house that kind of stuck out a little bit, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so with that, staff is recommending the approval of the disposition of these properties to Habitat for their 2020 build season.
So a couple of questions. What?
Yeah.
So we donate the land, but eventually there's going to be a house on it.
Correct.
Which will come back to the tax rolls.
Mhm.
Do you have any idea what the range of those projects may be as far as the tax rolls, coming back in the tax rolls?
Yeah, I think we're looking at usually around 140 to 160,000 per year.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. And the basic timeline is going to be over the next year or two, or?
We would be looking at building on these in the next 12 months.
Oh, well, all four?
Yes.
Oh, wow. They've been excellent partners.
They have
I mean,
been,
I can't
yes.
think of a better partnership.
Absolutely.
Donating land to them, and then they put a building up and get it back on tax rolls.
Absolutely. Yeah, and all of these sites are suited for single story, so it's right in Habitat's wheelhouse of design. There's a few tweaks that we're looking at, some of the attached garages, whether or not those setbacks are appropriate. And then just some things with adding some windows here and there on their designs, so.
You might mention, are they all vacant right now?
Two of them have houses on them
Okay.
that are part of our demo process right now, but if that doesn't line up with the disposition, Habitat has agreed to demo those, and then they would just invoice us back for that demo.
Okay.
Which actually works well, because they can demo and dig the hole at the same time.
Oh, sure.
So it saves,
Right, right.
typically would save money, so.
Okay, I entertain a motion. Kathy?
When you have fiscal impact, this is what we paid for these properties already?
Correct, right.
Okay, and then we are responsible for the tear down?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
So the ones,
Disposal.
right, the properties on here that, this is basically just the acquisition price that we had on here.
Okay.
223 and 1250, well, actually 1253 9th Street, the owner paid for that demo. We bought the land for that price. 223 South Buchanan, we ended up picking up the bill on that one because we got it through tax foreclosure, so.
No?
Okay, I entertain a motion. Yeah, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the recommendation to partner with Habitat for Humanity and provide them these 4 parcels of land as outlined.
Second?
Motion made by Kathy and a second by Matt. Any other questions or comments? If not, we shall vote. I think we're voting. No, there we go. There we go.
I just showed up.
Passed unanimously.
Excellent. Good luck, Habitat.
Thank you.
Yes,
You do
thank
well,
you very
you're
much.
doing a Great partnership. Thank you. Right, Number 2, consideration with possible action on the development agreement with Jane Juza for the property located at 1361 to 1363 Smith Street, tax parcel 7-411, under new homes in your neighborhood program. Ken again?
That's me again.
Yeah.
All right, so this property we purchased from the county in 2016. There was previously a 2-family home on this site that was demolished through our inspection process. We ended up, like I said, buying it from the county after that. Jane Uza has been working with the city on, she wants to get into this program. We've been working with her to pick a site that would work for her and her design. This is what she is proposing here, Cape Cod style, single family home. Yeah, she has made some modifications to the design based on staff recommendations, and we're comfortable going forward with this design. Part of that program, we deed the property to the developer free of charge and grant up to $25,000, which this developer is seeking. Right now, we are just waiting for verification of financing for the project from the developer, but to date, she has had talks with her financing and has been able to verbally acknowledge that, but we're just waiting for a letter from her financial institution. So with that, staff is comfortable with the design. We feel that it fits here. And I think that she'll be pretty successful, hoping that this kind of spurs her intro into that program, and hopefully she can do some more of them if this one's successful for her. So staff is recommending going forward with a development agreement with Jane Yuza for this parcel.
So our contribution is $36,695.
Correct. Yeah, that would be what, yeah, the RDA had allocated here.
And we're hoping that this house could end up selling for $175,000, $200,000, is that it?
I think so. Yeah, I think I mean, it's, yeah, it's going to be a nice, but she is going with accessible design, and that is something as part of her proposal that she's really adamant about. She's done home health care, and she sees that as a need in our community. Yeah, she's thought about that here. She has a bedroom on the first floor, so that if it's somewhere, you know, you can have a caregiver there. But yeah, everything is good on our side here. So
if we don't partner with her, what happens? What are the alternatives?
Well, the site would just stay on our list for the New Homes in Your Neighborhood program, and we'd seek other developers.
All right.
But we're pretty confident with this one as long as she can get the financing.
Right.
Is this going to run along Barrett?
Correct, yeah, it will face Barrett.
Yeah, I'm looking at the lot, and there's like no way that
Yeah.
you could.
Yeah, it has to go along.
And that, one of the design requirements that, because she wanted to face Baird like that, was that the side facing Smith Street there had some kind of architectural feature, you know, the fireplace there and a bump out. That way it still kind of fit that block face. But yeah, she's able to, the setbacks, she's able to push closer to the house next door because the garage can come off of Baird Street. So yeah, the developer's done their due diligence on this and really put together a pretty good design here. So.
And this is not in the floodplain?
The edge of the property is, but the structure won't be.
So they won't be required to have floodplain insurance?
It depends on the lender. From what information I've gathered, different institutions will, you know, if any part of the property touches, that could be an issue where flood insurance would kick in. But sometimes your local banks don't always require that, as long as the structure is not in the floodplain. So yeah, this parcel itself, it's just the northern edge there of the property that is slightly in the floodplain. So.
Like feet?
It's, I think, probably like 10 feet.
It's pretty very attractive.
It is, it's very attractive.
Very good.
Yeah, we thought so too. The original design didn't have the dormers on it. That was
Like
something we
the
required.
It's really dresses it up. What
It
could end
does.
up being the purchase price?
We're hoping somewhere 175 to 200,000. So, yeah, we're looking for a recommendation.
I would move to approve. Second.
Motion made by Alder Dorf and a second by Kathy
This one for discussion.
to approve the project. Any other questions or comments? Now we shall vote. That's a terrific project, Ken. Good work.
Thank you.
Passed unanimously.
Very good.
Awesome.
Thank you. Number 3, consideration of possible action on awarding a full housing study for the City of Green Bay to MSA Professional Services in the amount of $33,800. And where's the money coming from?
We're having a bake sale next week.
Right, okay, whatever.
That's
We gotta
good,
get
yeah,
this-
right.
Don't have a
Just
wine
teasing.
tasting.
So, look, we deal with a lot of housing projects
Yes,
at
yes.
this board and in the community.
Yes.
And we definitely understand there's a lot of housing needs that are out there. And what we would like to do is engage MSA to do a full-scale housing study for the city. What this will do is it will assess our existing housing supply, our stock that we have right now in terms of types of units, sizes of units, age of units, units that are for owner occupancy, units that are for rental, and then really just get a better picture of the supply we have existing here in the community. And then work on housing demand, assessing, all right, what is the demand? Something that we've pushed for and I think will help is trying to dig in a little bit more of a specific demand by different demographic sectors. Students have a little different demands in terms of young professionals, have a little different demands in terms of those with families, have different demands in terms of those retired or maybe with physical or other disabilities. So we really want to get a better sense of not just like, okay, we need this many units. Well, what exactly is that demand and where is it coming from? And then tying that in with just some other issues that we see in our community in terms of homelessness, and then there's a separate initiative, that's going to be working on homelessness. But I think we have to acknowledge that things with accessible housing, location, adaptive reuse, also also, just the cost right now of construction and what it costs to build things. And so putting those things together really to identify our gaps and really, and that will help us, I think, prioritize, all right, where do we need to be focusing in terms of filling those gaps and what can we do? We were talking with the study we did last year about furthering fair housing, some things, planning zoning wise we can do. But this is, going beyond that and also figuring out what types of projects really do we need, so that we're building things to fill in those gaps. With that, we're going to look at the city, but we're also going to look at our market, and that is this study will also include what's going on in neighboring municipalities, because I think it's really important. Right, most people, again, most of them have a Green Bay address, but they're not necessarily always looking at a municipal border, and so just getting a better sense of what the market is can really help us figure out those types of housing that we need, and also taking into consideration employment centers. Having a place to live is one thing, but if it's nowhere near where you work, sometimes your transportation costs may totally wipe out any savings that you have in housing. So it's a pretty comprehensive study. The reason that we'd like to pursue it is one, there's just a pure housing need that we have in the community. But secondly, we're working on updating our comprehensive plan this year, and this is really going to help fuel what we do in that planning process. When we make recommendations for things that we could do in terms of land use, areas where we need more units, or helping to kind of fuel decisions we make in that arena.
Yes.
So with that, we would recommend approval to move forward. The funding for this, I believe we have some unrestricted block grant funds that we're going to use to cover this.
I see MSC is from Madison. I presume they've done a lot of this. You like them, or? Yeah,
they did our, I'll get the name right, Furthering Fair Housing study that we did last year.
Okay.
And they did a really good job. We looked at some things that they did in other communities.
Yeah.
One of the things that we did like is that they break up demand sectors, and they really looked at, and I think it's important in our community because we have a pretty sizable student population, we have a sizable young professional, and they've just looked at different sectors and what those sectors need in terms of housing, because the demands are very different. So yeah, I think we had a really good experience working with them last time around, and look forward to working with them this time.
Have we ever done one of these?
So we've done
anything to benchmark against?
A full housing study. I think it was before my time.
Because I think this is
There was a rental
fabulous.
housing study done
In 15.
in 15.
Yeah, we had one, I think when I first came on, we updated, for WIDA has some things in terms of a compliance study that you need for rental units. And Baker Tilly did that. We looked at them to see if they could update, but what we want to do.
No,
is
I
beyond
don't
their
mind,
scope.
I'd be
Yeah.
curious just to read that
So,
while
yeah,
they're doing
not to my
this,
knowledge, I
to
don't-
understand the history.
I don't think any of the housing authorities have either, right? Green Bay or Brown County. So, yeah, this, I feel can go a long way towards helping us become more educated in what we do in terms of action steps, you know, for planning and actual projects.
I like the idea that they're looking at all the surrounding communities as well, not just the city, because it's one big market, really.
It is.
I would think developers will love this, right? They'll get this information.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it just helps support us when we talk about the needs and when we're going out and, you know,
Yes.
trying to recruit developers or certain
Right.
projects saying like, no, this is the type of housing we need in the community. It's very clear that there's a market for it.
Excellent.
And, yeah, there's many, 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 many communities right now that are doing full-blown housing studies. And I can see one of the reasons for the expenses that you're including all of the surrounding communities in that study.
Yeah, I just
And that's critical.
think it's important. You can't have your head in the sand and pretend
Yeah.
like somebody would not choose something on one line or the other.
Right.
Right.
Now Cheryl and I are city people, right, and the mayor, right, so we know exactly where that line is. For somebody else moving to the community, yeah, it's all part of that,
Yeah.
that market.
Excellent.
Well, I think that homelessness study that's being done as well is not city-specific. It's looking at comprehensively the issues
Right.
of homelessness, so that can tie in together well with this plan and what types of housing needs to be provided.
No, I think this is awesome. So, I make a motion to approve awarding a full housing study for the city of Green Bay to MSA Professional Services in the amount of $33,800. That will include the surrounding communities in Brown.
Those communities, the ones that basically touch our borders.
Okay.
Second by Debbie, I heard.
Yes.
I thought so. I thought I didn't say Debbie.
Yeah, she did.
Any other questions or
That's
comments?
correct.
Questions or comments? If that was helpful.
I'm a geek, so I'd be
Passed unanimously.
interested in reading all of them.
Me too.
I mean,
It looks like it's going to be done already this summer, right?
Correct, so probably just a week off in terms of their initial timetable, but yeah, we'd like to have this wrapped up by the summer.
How do you do it?
Excellent. Thank you.
It's not summer.
Number 4, consideration of possible action for approval of final payment to Northern Electric Inc. in the amount of $28,063.71 for contract CD 1801 Beaver Dam Park ball field lighting. Right? Yep, ball field lighting.
This is just, the project has been completed. DPW has all of the information they need to close out the project, and we have all of our labor standards information that is required on the project as well. So this is a final payment for them.
And obviously the park department is happy with the
Yes.
project.
Mm-hmm.
So the lights work?
Yeah, did it work?
Yep,
Did it come
let's
on?
work. Mhm.
That's good. We'll get it.
second.
Okay, Alder Dorf, I'm sorry.
Yeah, move to approve.
Thank you.
With the money.
And second by Kathy. Thank you. All in favor? Wait, we can't. We're going to vote. We're voting.
Looking like
It's a
it.
quick agenda. isn't it?
Passed unanimously. Nice.
Excellent, thank you. Consideration of possible action to award a request for proposal, 3204, interior demolition and exterior cleanup of 158 North Maple Avenue. The lowest responsive and responsible vendor.
All right, 158 North Maple. We've been
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, we've been at this one for a while. Purchased this property in 2018 after the successful conversion of 159 North Maple across the street. We've since then put out an RFP, had a few developers interested in the property. One of the biggest things that comes up is just the uncertainty of the project. It was originally a single family, then converted to an upper-lower and then later on converted to 7 units. So
Oh my
there-
word.
Yeah, so there's been
A lot of walls added.
a lot of walls
Toilets
added,
added.
yeah, kitchens, you know, a lot of just uncertainty of where was the original floor plan, where what, you know, and we don't have the original floor plan, so our goal here is to clean up the property a little bit, pull out some of those, you know, some of the damage that had been done, all while still protecting the historical value of the house. There's beautiful woodwork, you know, crown molding, trim work, built-ins, that luckily whoever converted this actually didn't disturb that stuff. They just covered it up. So what we're doing is uncovering those things and cleaning this basically so the house shows better when we take a potential developer through. We're looking at taking the ceilings down so we can get a better look at the utilities through the house. The things have been cobbled together here, so the plumbing is all pieced together. The electrical is all over the place. I think there's a total of 6 electrical boxes in this house that all stem from one main box, but there's a lot going on here that it makes some developers uneasy when they see that. So we're hoping that a little injection of money here will spur that development in the future here. So
is there a garage?
There is no garage, no. So that is one of the...
But there's that huge, there's a parking lot for all the cars.
There is, yeah. There's a parking lot for 4 cars right now.
Can you put a garage there?
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to put it on site without...
Like if you attached it to the house?
You could. It would really change the appearance of the... So there's a few ideas that we had for a garage of possibly going into one of the... into the house, actually. With a single stall in the rear, but it's hard to get your head wrapped around that when you have a kitchen and a bathroom and all this other stuff that's pieced together inside. So, yeah, and through looking at it with staff, the significance of this house, like, it's substantial. If we tore the house down and built something new there with setbacks and everything, you wouldn't get what you have here. So we could go that route, but then you're looking at, putting money into a new build that you're not going to get this, the substance of this house here. So we're hoping that this really will spur a developer to be able to look at it. And the property across the street was partially demoed when we had that one out for RFP, which helped developers look and say, okay, we need to do this, this, and this. You have that uncertainty here, that they don't know what they're getting into. So.
Do you really have any square footage?
It's 3,600 square feet. Oh. That's first, second, third floor, plus then the basement, which is
that
actually...
That includes the basement?
That doesn't include the basement.
Oh, okay.
No. I didn't think so.
But
it does include the top floor?
Yes, it
does. That's a big house.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a big house.
It is a big house.
And I think a few of the RDA members here were able to get through this, and you get lost in it because it's been chopped up into a maze that doesn't make sense now. So.
Okay.
Couple of questions. Well, one is, okay, so existing is a 6-unit multifamily. What are we hoping is the end result be?
That is still kind of up in the air. Staff were hoping for at least single family or 2 family, perhaps. Maybe a first floor, and then they could rent out the upper along with the third floor as 1 unit. Or if it's a single family, first and second floor, and then kind of make that third floor a bonus space. There's a lot of house here.
So we originally bought for $129,900, you're gonna stick in another $32,000.
Right.
So we're gonna have $162,000 in this.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's without it really even being
right.
Correct.
Right. You haven't started on it.
Right.
It's going to be an expensive house, but
it will be expensive, but we think it's important to save that corner and really, hold the substance of that corner. So
it's historical, right? How old do you think it is?
It was built early 1900s. I have.
Okay. I'm just was curious.
Yeah.
It's not important.
Well, you look at that top window.
Yeah.
And you can see it was built by a craftsman or somebody that was of importance, I guess.
Okay, so after we clean it up, interior and exterior, then we're going to hire a builder to finish building it?
We'll update our RFP on it, and hope that'll spur some more interest in it. And we'll tailor that a little differently too once we can get some more interior pictures and really have a better idea from our standpoint too, once we take some of those things out, what those other costs might be.
So after we do this, clean up, whatever, so there's probably a couple options here then. We could either hire a builder ourselves and redo it ourselves
Yes.
and sell it,
Yep.
or we could sell it to somebody that would do that.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, so this really is the next step for if we're gonna take it on, we're gonna spend that money anyway. If we find a developer to do it, this will probably be one of those costs where it would come back to us once they dig in and have to ask for a larger grant once they find something that we might actually uncover during this process.
Yeah.
And what did the house across the street sell?
The one across the street sold for
$250.
$249.
Oh, really?
49 across
Yeah.
the street.
Okay. I couldn't hear about that. Okay.
Yeah,
We could do HGTV, get the Property Brothers to come in.
that'd be wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a contact for that.
Do you have the original pictures of the
I feel like
house?
we took the
Do you
HGTV
have any-
guide through
Don't,
that.
no.
Nothing done at the library or?
No, when we looked, Jason Flatt, our historic preservation specialist, looked at it. He put together a history of this
Cha-Cha
house.
Mary Jane?
Really?
So, yeah.
Really? Good luck with it, Ken.
Is there any,
Yeah.
Thanks.
are there any unrestricted CDBG funds that can be put in this?
Kristen?
We just
Probably
spent
not
them on
the-
the housing study.
The last agenda item.
Oh, last agenda.
That was the last agenda item.
Isn't that interesting, right?
And being that it's such a large house, I
Yeah.
don't know if we'd want to put any strings on it with the CDBG funds, just,
Oh, but if they're unrestricted.
I guess if they're
You
unrestricted,
wouldn't
yeah.
have, wouldn't have the strings. No, I wouldn't want the strings attached to it.
Right. So,
It'd be impossible to sell without deeply subsidizing it.
Yeah.
Right.
right.
So, yeah, the one
I
across the street,
make
if I
a
remember
motion.
correctly, somebody did buy it, and then they finished it.
Correct.
and sold it, huh?
Correct. Yeah, that one, we did a grant of $72,000 on that in total.
Yeah.
That was one where they had asked a certain amount. Once they dug in a little further, they came back for a task for another grant, so.
This one, we're definitely have a $180 in it, $162,000. That's a lot of money.
It is, but I
And you
think
haven't
for-
even started.
I know
fixing
it.
up. You haven't even
For
doing
that-
yours right now.
So
that
this is
block.
going to be, this will be, occasionally we have a painful project.
We do.
at the beginning,
Right.
But it ends up very nice in the end.
I was gonna say.
Oh, it's gonna be
Always
stunning.
found some way to do
Can't wait
it.
to go to the open house.
Right, and it, there's something to be said about the stabilization of the neighborhood as
Yeah.
well. That's
Right.
a linchpin house in that corner, if you're familiar, like,
Yeah.
one block to the east
Mhm.
is Hubbard, and that's the Broadway area, so,
North Maple, so it's
You
on the
got
west side,
right,
this way.
it's a great street. Yes, so like Fort Howard Apartments is directly,
Yes.
one house and then
I got
Fort Howard
it.
Apartments, so.
I did speak with Alder Johnson this morning about this.
Ah.
He had some questions on, making sure that the historic integrity of the house was, intact after this project, and he's fully comfortable supporting this after I explained basically what I explained here. So, all of that history, the buildings, the woodwork, the hardwood floor, all the column, that's all going to be intact. This is just to get it so we can see what we're working with and paint it out a little bit to show better, so.
Right now, you're just looking for approval for the $32,530.
Yes, to award to Badgerland Demolition. So we did have 4 vendors who bid on the project. Badgerland came in the lowest, and we've worked with them on
Good.
other demolitions, not interior demos. And they've been, the last round of demos we did with them, they were responsive, and they were able to finish those projects, so.
And are we worried that it's so much lower than the others? That, are they going to be able to do it? We're not worried.
I'm not
Okay,
worried,
right.
no,
Okay.
yeah, we'll see. Yeah, no, I think
Okay.
the other contractors, I think, are more on the contracting side, where Badgerland's on the demo side, so they kind of, we're gonna be out there making sure that they're
Doing it right.
doing it right, so, yeah, we're comfortable going with the lower price on this one. So.
Question, do we have the records of the inspections and things when they made these changes?
No.
Or are
No,
we
those are all
assuming
done.
they just do them?
If they came to us and got a permit, but
Yeah.
in a lot of these cases, they just did it on their own.
Converted, and that could have been converted 50 years ago.
Well,
Yeah.
the original conversion was done in 1930,
Oh.
from a single family to a two-family.
And then when to a 6, though?
That we don't know.
And then
But,
just started,
yeah.
right?
I mean, because when you go to 6, that's the issue.
Right, right.
I mean,
Well, I'll make a motion to approve this.
I second.
Alderman
Absolutely.
Second by Kathy to approve the funds for the demolition and the selection of the vendor, Badgerland demolition. Any other questions or comments? If not, Michelle, you're ahead of us.
Passed unanimously.
Excellent. Thank you. Number 6, consideration of possible action approving the terms of a short sale proposal for 1155 Stewart Street.
Hello.
Kevin, huh?
So, you read the report, you have any questions on that? It's pretty straightforward. It was a small loan we gave to this homeowner, family split up. It became a mess, and the woman was trying to get her back out of the deal. She found a buyer for cash for the property. It's not in terrible shape, but it does need some love. So she's looking to finalize the sale, pay us off $1,500 of the $2,191, and for the right to satisfy the mortgage. So there would be a balance on the books of $690.
600.
I think,
I have no idea, it could be me. I'll make a motion to approve.
I second.
Motion by Kathy, second by Wardorf. Any questions or comments? If not, we'll sell this as well.
All right, back in.
Thank you.
Passed unanimously.
Thank you. Kevin. Excellent. We have an update on our redevelopment owned properties. Can't get us back at it. So this is the 3 things we always want to keep in front of us, and it's the third step. We did the tips, excellent job, clean those up, very, very nice. We did the bonding last time, we know where we're at, and I'm very appreciative. Now we want to know what properties are still out there, and how do we get them back on the tax roll?
Yeah.
Basically,
So today, what I have for you is our 2019 acquisition and disposition list. We're still working on the disposition plan going forward, and the properties that we still have, working with some of the other departments on, looking at those lots, what we can do with them, if there's stuff we can combine with other city parcels, or possibly other city parcels we could add to our lots to make them a little bit more marketable. But what I wanted to just show you here today is the activity that we had last year and what we were able to accomplish with our properties last year. So more updates to come once we get that other master list kind of tackled a little better here.
So this is what we bought and what we disposed of, but not what we still have.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
So that'll be a lot more information. We have a few of our programs that we're looking at modifying a little bit to make some of our properties a little bit more marketable,
Okay.
and a little bit more user-friendly. And so that'll kind of all go hand in hand with the future list of property disposition. So, but you can see here, looking at the disposition, and these are projected values on sale price. Not all of these have been completed yet, but we were able to add some significant tax base back onto the tax rolls here last year. So.
Very impressive.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Another
I
one.
like our
Property.
partnership.
Yeah.
I like the partnering with other people.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's
Exactly.
very, very important.
Well, one of the things
With the
staff is doing
experts.
too that's kind of exciting to find is that they're going through all of the city-owned parcels.
Right.
And there are these parcels that have been sitting that,
Oh, yeah.
you know, are they Public Works, are they us, are they, right?
Right.
That we're looking at, hey, we could put a house there. So we're finding some sites that potentially can be buildable. As soon as we figure out how to get the name in the right
Correct.
place.
Yeah, getting the right
For
ownership
those
on the
sites.
property.
So, and that's quite an extensive list of properties. When you include all the parcels that are parks, right, parking lots and all those things, it's quite an extensive list. So it's trying to wade through all of those parcels and figure out, okay, we gotta hold this, it's a parking lot. It's a
Right.
ramp, we have to keep that.
And some of the RDA owned sites too are these floodplain properties where
Yeah.
that's coming up a lot. What do we do with those? We've been working across some of the departments to look at some other options for those, for RDA properties. But then at the same time, we have these city-owned properties that have the same issue that we're trying to work out some solutions there. So that's the next few months here as we're putting that plan together, we'll bring updates to you guys, so.
So the bottom line, as far as last year, assessed value of the acquisition was about $500,000, but we put on the tax rolls, tax base, $2 million.
Right.
Right.
Very good.
And that was, a number of those properties had been demolished, so they lost their value. And then by us being able to acquire them, work with the developer, put them back on there, we're, able to significantly increase those values. You can, see some of the ones that did have houses on them, you'll see are assessed a little higher, but the value that we're able to put back on is significantly higher.
Exactly.
So.
Kevin, you're probably going to talk to us later about this, but I see we got the Associated Bank parking lot on here.
Correct.
You want to give us an update on that or not really?
Yeah, so we'll probably be coming back probably next month to do the planning option with Foreman.
Good.
I'm just going to finalize, getting them control in terms of being able to work on their next steps for that project.
Good.
Because things a little bit different with Rita, but they're still intent on moving forward with the plan as just proposed in terms of the grocery store and the multifamily development.
Excellent.
So, yeah.
The bottom line is still moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, they set out, they had a pretty stretched out schedule.
Yes.
Because I think they wanted to make sure to have everything in a row, but yeah, they're gearing up for this. So we'll probably have the formal planning option come through next month.
Excellent.
That's awesome.
Any questions on yourself?
No.
Larry?
Do we need any kind of motion on it?
Nice recap.
No,
No, just
informational.
informational.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. That's great.
Very nice recap.
Very nice, thank you.
And then next meeting or two, you're going to come back with the other stuff. whatever.
Yeah, we'll have that
But
plan.
Great recap, though.
Shut
Yeah,
up.
hard work on your part, whole group.
Yeah, it takes a team. We have a pretty good team up here, so.
All right.
Awesome.
Okay, any questions on the financial report or check register? Should be informational. I just have any questions. Okay. Director's report.
Thank you. Yes, so just little lighter meeting today until the holidays.
Yes.
Take a breath and get geared up. Into the spring, we'll be finishing out a few things. As I mentioned, the Associated Bank parking lot, moving forward with that planning option. We'll be looking at some design building approvals for PWG, the second project over at the Valley Yard. We're just working through some of the zoning and site plan things right now that'll have to go through potentially Plan Commission, but those designs will come back here for further final approvals. And just really, it's pretty exciting. I mean, there's one big chunk of rail yard parcel left. Just a few years ago, we were trying to figure out, scrambling what to do with everything, and then it's really great, to see those things moving along. You see some of the infrastructure in, and so we're just making sure all those pieces are coming together.
Right.
We had a really good meeting talking about Elmore Commons, that public space that's going to go through there, and just how that will be developed, over time. And so, just seeing those pieces come together and see if they'll come back to this board coming up this spring. Also, following through, we were talking again about the shipyard, looking at our piece in terms of some of the construction documents and then trying to figure out, all right, what pieces and the phasing of those pieces. Everything over there just pretty much went in a standstill since Halloween, and ground got frozen and can't really do much over there. But once we start to think about thaw and spring and then moving things around, we'll talk about some decisions over there in terms of what we're ultimately going to build. But with that, I wanted to bring up Matt Buchanan for a minute to talk about one of the neighborhood initiatives that we're working on over there.
Good.
So, sure. The US EPA has been paying attention to some of our efforts in the shipyard area, not just the shipyard site itself, but also the neighborhood. Of course, you all approved us spending $1 million in that neighborhood specifically over the next few years. So they wanted to help us spread those dollars further and think about what we want to do long term in that neighborhood. So they have approved a free technical assistance opportunity for us. They're going to be bringing in some consultants here at the end of this month. We're going to have a tour on the 29th with the consultants and stakeholders of that neighborhood. That evening there will be a public meeting, which we're just now starting to advertise. So that'll be at the Tank School at 6:30 p.m. We can send you out an email about that. It's a public meeting. We're going to be engaging with the residents and business owners down there, asking what they would love to see in the future for that neighborhood. Are there things that we should be doing to help facilitate revitalization? We've already started some new programs. Are there other programs we can be starting? Are there certain issues that we're not aware of? So just kind of having those kinds of conversations. The next day on the 30th, the team will come back here and we're going to have a stakeholder meeting where we're going to kind of discuss some of the subjects brought up the night prior and put together an actual strategy for just bringing revitalization, more revitalization efforts to that neighborhood over the long term.
Did you say about that EPA or
Yep.
EDA?
EPA, Environmental Protection Agency.
I know the EDA has
Yep.
technical assistance grants
This
too.
is their building blocks for neighborhood revitalization program. We're one of only 6 communities in the entire nation to get this assistance. So kind of a big deal. We're happy about it.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Kevin, the private sector company with corporate headquarters, is that still over there?
So we are on hold for the
Okay.
winter. Just,
Okay.
I mean, construction,
Okay.
nothing's moving. So,
All right.
yeah, we talked a little bit about it, but again, this spring we'll be talking,
Good.
how we move forward on that piece as well.
Excellent.
The one other thing, just back down to the shipyard, we also have been, Mayor and I engaged in talking with Sea Rice and
Yes, yes.
Energies in terms of next steps for polling plants, and I think we're quite close in terms of having the pieces in place that would allow us a strategy to move forward. So I think we're hopeful that this spring could also be on your docket, some discussions about just kind of how to line all those pieces up and what the plan would be for moving forward.
We still need the help from the state for mediation?
Yeah, I think that's still, I don't know if the mayor wants to talk. It's been a political football for better or worse analogy. That it's tied up with a lot of things down there. For us, that's really a critical piece in terms of knowing what's there in terms of how we can repurpose that. I don't know if you want to say anything.
Yeah, it was passed through the assembly, so that
Yes.
was an important first step. It's still in the Senate. Some of the other communities that could benefit from harbor assistance program dollars were not real keen on this chunk of money going to Green Bay specifically, and away from their communities.
Right.
We're waiting to hear though if after those allocations are made, there's that 1.2, 1.5 million that remains in that pot, and if that's the case, it'll make things much easier to move that through the Senate. So fingers are crossed on that, and checking in with Senator Coles regularly and Representative Seth on that.
Good. Excellent. Good luck with that. Very important. Anything else? Motion to adjourn, I guess.
So moved. Second.
Alderman and Kathy, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Carried, motion carried. Thank you.
Thanks. Here again. Could I have a second?
Yeah.